It is interesting to listen to people who covered Joe Paterno during the course of this time. David Jones had an interesting perspective. I know our colleague Mike DeCourcy does as well. Mike joins us now. Of course, you know him from his work here on the Big Ten Network, but also a Hall of Fame sports writer for the Sporting News and formerly a writer for the Pittsburgh Press, who was the beat writer for Penn State. So, Mike, everything that's happened here in the span of the last 8 months or so, how does this reconcile with the Joe Paterno that you knew?
Well, I can say, Dave, that for as many problems as I had with covering him, and even as secretive as he was, and how I've often referred to secrecy during my years covering Penn State football as almost a sacrament, I would never have anticipated anything on the order of what the Free Report has alleged. I would never have expected that what was regarded in the Free Report, the idea that the highest level of Penn State administration, including the football coach and the athletic director and the president, would conceal something on the order of what was concealed. As I said, I had problems with Joe, but would never have anticipated anything like that occurring.
Mike, you are such an astute observer of college athletics. I'm interested in your take. The big conversation going into today was, is this something that the NCAA should have purview over? Is this in their jurisdiction, so to speak? It seems like for a lot of people that question has been answered in the affirmative today. Are you one of those people? Do you feel this was the right thing to do? My
position originally was that I believed that this was a matter for the courts, criminal and civil. The criminal courts have already spoken on a large segment of it in regards to Jerry Sandusky and the convictions that he had on so many counts. We still haven't gotten a sentence on him. We still have the allegations out against two administrators. There's still the question of whether there would be allegations or charges against a third. And then, of course, the civil matters that haven't really even begun to open the door on those yet. And I was under the my belief was that the punishments that would come through that would be sufficient. Now that the NCAA has done this, Penn State had to sign off in order for this to go forward in the way that it has gone forward, because they've circumvented the entire NCAA infractions and enforcement process by doing this. So Penn State had to go along with it. Well, if Penn State's going along with it in order to be spared to some extent the infractions and enforcement process, and also so everybody could commence with moving on, I'm fine with it. The only part I'm not fine with is the NCAA continuing to engage in the business of scholarship reductions. I think it's a barbaric and antiquated punishment that needs to be eradicated.
Why?
Because at the end of the day, Dave, when the NCAA takes scholarships away from football, those scholarships disappear. Football, basketball, whatever sport you're punishing, those scholarships disappear. If the NCAA wanted to really set a precedent today, and they did set some precedents, but they wanted to set a great one, they should have said, okay, here's what we're going to do. You have to give us $60 million, et cetera, no bowl games, et cetera. Also, you're not going to be able to have 20 football players on scholarship for the next 4 years, and you have to take those 20 scholarships, the $30 grand per year you were investing in each of those, and give them to somebody else who doesn't play football. That would have been a great precedent to set, because somebody out there would have been getting a free education. I was the beneficiary of a free education when I went through college. Let me tell you, it's a wonderful thing. And if you're taking that away from 20 kids and just destroying that, the NCAA, they go by the idea that they are an educational institution. That's how they're allowed to operate as a nonprofit entity. So they should not be in the business of destroying opportunities at free educations.
Interesting. So what you're saying is you're not opposed to them reducing Penn State's scholarship level to 65 and taking away 10 scholarships a year. What you're saying is you would still like to see Penn State give those 10 scholarships, just not necessarily to football players.
Yeah, I think if you're going to be in the business of roster management as a way of punishing schools so they can't be as good, or it's difficult to be as good, okay, fine. But you have to account for those scholarships somehow. And I had some people say, well, how do you know you wouldn't just give it to the nearest 6'8", 285-pound guy? Well, that's easy enough to cover, because all you have to do is say, okay, you're giving it to Joe Jones, and he's not ever allowed to play football at Penn State. Boom. It's the same as monitoring phone calls and all the other stuff that the compliance is charged with doing. It would be very easy to do, and then at that point, the NCAA has removed itself from the business of destroying free educational opportunities. And I think that that's something that they should seriously consider. They set so many precedents today, Dave. This would have been an easy one to do, and I'm disappointed that they whiffed on the opportunity.
A fair point. Mike DeCourcy from the Sporting News, our friend and colleague. And Mike, definitely appreciate your time and your insights.
All right, Dave, thanks.